friend. You're listening to The Sustainable Body Worker, the podcast for massage therapists who want to grow thriving, purpose-led businesses without the burnout. Here we talk about nervous system aligned business strategy, pricing that makes sense, client work that doesn't deplete you, and how to build a career that actually supports your life. I'm your host, Gretchen Popp, massage therapist, mentor, educator, and recovering overachiever. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of The Sustainable Body Worker. Today, I'm joined by someone I've personally admired for a very long time, Jessica Curtis. If you've been anywhere in the online massage therapist space, you've probably come across her work, her really down-to-earth teaching style, and the incredible way that she has used Instagram specifically to not only grow her practice, but transform it entirely. Jessica went from running a fully booked hands-on massage practice to moving out of state and transitioning her business completely online, something that can feel totally out of reach for so many massage therapists. In this conversation, we talk about what that transition really looked like behind the scenes, the messy middle, the mindset shifts, and the very human moments that don't always show up on social media. We talk about what it's like to be pedestaled by the massage therapy community when in reality we're both just normal humans still figuring it out, making mistakes, and learning as we go. What I love most about Jessica is that everything she's built, her community, her courses, her membership for massage therapists, all of it came from this pure, genuine place of wanting to see others benefit from the same things she had experimented with in her own practice. There was never this I'm the expert energy, just curiosity, service, and heart. And while Jessica and I technically teach similar things to the same audience, I'm so grateful for this collaboration because it's such a reminder that we are not competitors. We are collaborators. We're mirrors. We're shining lights that validate each other's purpose and show that there's room for all of us to succeed doing meaningful work in this community. And this episode is for any massage therapist who's ever looked at someone online and thought, I could never do that, or they have something that I don't. Because you can and they don't. And today, Jessica and I are here to remind you exactly why. Enjoy. Alrighty, Jessica, oh my goodness gracious. So excited to be having another conversation with you. I'm seriously tickled to have you on the podcast. And before we get started, just in case anyone does not know who you are, please go ahead and introduce yourself and share a little bit about, how you came to be where you're at in your practice and your business now.
Of course. I'm so excited to be back. Thank you for having me. I am Jessica Curtis. On Instagram, I'm known as J Kurt Bodywork. If anybody wants to go check me out. I have been licensed since 2017, and straight out the gate, I went and worked for a chiropractor who was really good for learning techniques and kind of learning how to run a business. But as many of you know, the income I was receiving was not paying my bills. So I was still working as a server on the side, and then I started renting my own room on the side. So I have a very slow origin story, I feel like, compared to some others, where I waited until my practice was starting to get full before I fully left my serving job, actually. So I was always a little scared. In massage school, I just really wanted to help people. I got into structural integration, so I really wanted to help people find the root cause of pain. I originally wanted to go to physical therapy school, but after I got my degree, I was kind of older and I just wanted to start working. So I found structural integration and kind of went that route. So I was just so passionate about helping people that I didn't think about the business side of things.
Mm.
So that was kind of a rude awakening. I think a lot of people feel you just are so focused on learning your techniques and, making sure all of that stuff is good to go that even just the flow of a session was kind of like a lot for me when I first started. Like, because structural integration, if you're not familiar, it's working with the fascial network and it's very systematic and it's very, the first session, you're only working on the arms and the chest to open up the breath. And then the second session, you work on the feet and the legs. So when I got into the real world, when people are like, I just want you to work on my shoulder and my right hip or something. I was like, no, that's not how I do it. It was like learning how to bring in the flow of it all. So I kind of stopped doing structural work because when I worked for the chiropractor, it was more of just kind of deep tissue, I guess. So yeah, so then I just kind of got more comfortable with working on different types of bodies. And then I went down to just working 1 day a week at the restaurant. I quit the chiropractors after 8 months. So I guess that is still kind of quick, but I still had my restaurant job to actually supplement my income. And then I fully went on my own right in time for the pandemic to hit.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of when I fully went on my own. And then a few weeks into the pandemic and being shut down is when I launched my online membership. And then I kind of started doing both. So,
Yeah, well, I mean, things seem
the
to
journey.
really skyrocket for you from there. I mean, in a time that was really, really shaky, it was a definitely a good time to launch an online membership and kind of launch into that digital space. Was it the pandemic specifically that inspired you to launch into the digital space, or was this something that you were thinking about for a while?
So I guess will rewind a little bit. So 2018, I created my Instagram page and I just kind of did it without any real goal or strategy. I was just like, I didn't want to post my massage stuff on my personal page just because it was still kind of cringe to me at that point, and I didn't want anyone I knew to see it. And so then once I started posting it, I did start getting clients from it. So that was amazing. And then I also started connecting with other massage therapists from like all around the world. And I feel like I was very willing to respond to people's comments and questions about why am I working in the armpit on this area or like, just giving advice. And so I think the membership kind of came from the demand of it. So I was really lucky that people were wanting more help. But yeah, when you're just trying to fill your schedule and pay your bills, like building something online kind of took the back burner. Um, and then I started listening to Amy Porterfield.
Hmm.
She's great with the whole online course and membership community. And so I just started listening to podcasts, and I remember in detail, she talked about this woman created an online course on how to make the perfect carameled apple.
Wow.
And she made like $100,000. And I'm like sitting there, the whole world's shut down. I'm like doing puzzles at my sister's house, just listening to podcasts. And I'm like, okay, like if somebody can make a course on carameled apples, like I can make something. But I didn't have any content really. So I just went through my camera roll and I had tons of old videos that I would just do voiceovers for. So the membership came just kind of from like demand and then also just everything being shut down. I had nothing else to do. So, yeah, and now it's grown. So I launched that in April of 2020. And so,
Wow.
been a
Yeah.
long journey.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's interesting hearing you say that at first it was cringe. And I mean, I remember my first videos too. Like, I encourage people to go back and try and
Yeah.
find it because I'm like, trust me, I have
Yeah.
not always been this confident on camera. And it's really important for people to see this. But at the end of the day, like, it seems like when you were faced with that, like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And you had all that content, you just went for it. So I'm wondering for you, like, what did you have to work through, like fears or that cringy, like, just do it, or like did you have any hesitation around that, or did you just kind of go for it?
Um, yeah, so and that's the thing. I love my oldest videos. Like I keep them up because they're not actually cringe to me anymore, but it was just like doing it. And luckily back then, actually, there wasn't a lot of super polished, good lighting videos. Now I think people have upped their editing game and
Yeah.
their lighting and all that stuff. So back then, it wasn't as much. It was a little bit like, say I was like dating a new guy. I was like, oh, I don't want him to see my page just because it felt like just like weird.
Yeah.
But the whole massage community always made me feel good. So it was weird. It was more like my personal life that I had to kind of separate. And
Yeah.
even just like friends being like, why? Like, I had one friend in particular that was just kind of like, don't you need better lighting? Like she wanted things to be perfect. And I was just like, people don't care. They just care that I'm teaching, you know? So I feel like the massage community is what helped me get over the cringiness because I realized I was helping people. So I just kind of had to reframe it. Like, if I can help more people, then I don't care if some random guy I used to date finds my page, like
Yeah.
kind of
I
thing
think
like that.
that's an important message, I think, for a lot of people, because like I know you and I both help practitioners create online offers, and one of the biggest hurdles I think that a lot of them work through is this idea that they're not going to get it right at first, but especially if you're creating an offer for other massage therapists, it is a really supportive community. Like they're not going to be like, "Oh, your lighting wasn't good, so I wasn't able to learn that technique." My first
Yeah.
course was filmed on Zoom in a terrible lighting situation that I think I had like random like Velcro straps put like fixing the little clip that my phone was supposed to clip onto my crappy like $20 ring light. And I
Yeah.
made it work and I edited it like crazy over and over again in order to like make it work well. But there were times that I was like moving the tripod around and making little like do 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 sounds as I was like
Yeah.
moving things around just for fun. And literally no one has complained about that content having bad lighting because the information is there. And that's what
Yeah.
people want. They want the information.
Yeah. And I feel like if anything, it makes you like more approachable almost in a way.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why my page did so well at first because like I was in my living room with stained carpets and like I didn't even have a ring light for a long time. And then my friend, I was lucky. I will say this. I was very lucky. I met a friend in massage school, and her and I just became super close. And we would meet up to just practice on each other. And so then that's when we would get videos out of it. And she made her own like makeshift ring light. I don't know if we thought they were so expensive. Like it was almost like we didn't even do the research because we were just like, we're not videographers. We don't even know. So like I remember she got a tripod and I even thought that was legit because I used to put my phone just like on something like a bookcase against a
Yeah.
candle. Like, and so, yeah. And then I think the massage community was so supportive and I was able to help so many newbies that like I felt like I was only a few steps ahead of them, but I was willing to take time out of my day because I was just so passionate about just helping people. So I think it makes you almost more approachable too. And then as they see you grow and your videos get better, then it's almost like then that's an inspiration for them as well. But I feel like sometimes the crappier videos like make people feel more like, oh, okay, we're not so different.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't have to go and spend hundreds of bucks on special equipment. I mean, I even have an old iPhone from I think it's from like 2018. I think that was a new iPhone in 2018, and we don't use it as a phone anymore, but the camera is still good enough because
Yeah.
most people are watching online courses on their phone anyway. It's not like they're watching it on this big HD screen anyway. So we really don't need to have a ton of equipment. And I love that you mentioned the relatability and the approachability because I was thinking about this when like planning for this episode. I mean, even still, like I see you and everything that you've built, and I'm like, oh, she's so cool. And I know people have like looked at me and said to me, like, oh, you're like you've done all this stuff, you've got everything like figured out, and we really project this idea of like this person has everything figured out. And on one level, it's like kind of like, cool, I'm so glad it looks that way, but
Yeah.
also I'm still a human. I mess up all the time. And I think it is important to like go back to those older videos. And I love you do bring them up in your Instagram every now and then, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
look at this old video.
I look at
And
there's this like I'm like, did I even turn a light on? Like it's like pitch black in there, it feels
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
like it still allowed you to grow so much, and that's really cool to have seen that like you did it. There was a content creator who was sharing recently that at the end of the day, someone who's successful on social media or on YouTube or anything like that, it's not necessarily about the quality of the content that they're producing, it's the quantity, just showing up and showing up regularly. And I think that you're a really great testament to that. And I'm curious what has if you were to attribute your ability to just show up consistently and just like go, go, go with that, what would you attribute that to?
Well, thank you for saying that because I feel like I've been struggling to stay consistent now because I've been online for like 7 years, almost 8 years now that you do go up and down with
Yeah.
it. But then once you build up your page to have so much value, I, I don't even think people notice when I'm not posting, especially if you show up like on your stories and stuff. I think
Yeah.
that helps. Um, but I think honestly, it sounds silly, but I was single for the first 5 years of starting my business in my Instagram, and I feel like I just dove into it. I didn't have any kids. I don't ha didn't have a boyfriend. I just was living with roommates who were super supportive, and I had my groove of like, I just would edit videos while I was sitting on the couch with my roommate, like watching Dateline. So I would just be kind of always kind of working on something. Like if I'm going to sit here and watch TV, you can just be, trying to edit a video. So I just feel like I was always just working on something like that. And I think honestly, I was getting such good feedback that it did, not that it stroked my ego, but it was more just like, oh, it's almost like these people need me. I need to post something new tomorrow. So I think the fun I was having just helped me keep creating. And I started to get better about batching. Not, I would never batch my content to where I would like edit a ton of videos and have them ready to go, but I would kind of know from one video, I could split that up into 5 different videos. So I got a lot better at that. My first videos, I was fast forwarding them so quick that you could barely see what I was doing. And I was trying to show this is how an entire session with me would go. And then the further along I got, I was like, okay, let's just show how you work on the neck. Let's just show how you work on the low back. So then that one video can be made into 10, and so that made it much more doable for me. So I think I just was so unhappy with working with the chiropractor too that it just felt like every night I had to be working on something. So I think that's kind of just what helped me stay accountable. And I made it fun. I wasn't like, I got to go to the coffee shop to work on this video. I just would do it while I'm hanging out with my roommate, sometimes drinking wine while I'm editing a video. Like it wasn't that serious for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as soon as we put the label of like work and I have to do my marketing, it really does take the fun out of it. Cause yeah, I mean like doing stuff on Canva and playing with CapCut and all of that stuff, like now some people who are not techie at all, like that sentence itself can
Yeah.
trigger extreme anxiety. So I
Yeah.
have space for anyone who's having that experience while listening to that right now. But if you are a little techie, like don't let the work aspect of it or the I have to aspect of it ruin it. That's what happened for me too, because like I had some help in doing the graphic design for my posts for a while, and that took a lot of pressure off of me because I would spend way too much time on the editing side, like because I do love it, and but it would take so much time. So I ended up simply just writing my captions. But then
Mm,
because I love writing and that's where like I feel like my voice comes out. But then it turned into like, okay, every Monday I need to sit down and I need to write X amount of captions, and it turned into work. And that can really turn something that's fun into not so fun anymore.
yeah, for sure. And I think when you're first starting too, it's just fun because you haven't done anything yet. Like now I'm having a harder time because I'm like, I've posted everything. And now it's just repeating. Like it's like reminding myself that not everyone has seen
Yeah,
everything. Because then sometimes I even look back on my page if somebody's like, oh, do you have something for the Subscap? And I'm like, yeah, I've posted plenty. And then I go and look at my page and I'm like, oh, I guess you do have to scroll
it's
down
really
a
far
bit,
back.
you know?
Yeah.
So now I think it's mastering like just repeating yourself in different ways or even just repurposing and reposting using the same video but doing different text on it. So I think now it's that challenge, but like I feel like at first it was just like I haven't posted anything. Like anything is going to be new and cool. And I do think that the people nowadays, like I think a lot of people think it's harder to be on Instagram now because it's so saturated, which that's another topic that we can dive into more if you want. But I'm like, you guys don't understand the struggle of 2018. I had to go and purchase my own song if I wanted it and
Yeah.
then upload it. And then I had to edit it on this app. I'm like, you guys don't even know. Like now you could just add the text right there. You can edit everything on Instagram. I'm like, you don't know the struggle that it used to be.
That's so funny. Yeah, like a reel now, like it used to take a good solid maybe like 15, 20 minutes to put together a reel or like a piece of content like that. But now like it can take like just a quick five
Yeah.
minutes if
Yeah.
you're prepared. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
funny.
feel like it's easier in that regard, but I do get what people are saying. Like people are coming with high tech cameras now and audio system, like I do understand what people are saying in that regard, but I still think when it's saturated, that means there's just demand. Like people just love seeing massage videos, like,
Well,
you
and people
know,
aren't getting any less addicted to social media. So
if anything, it's getting more and more. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you mentioned that you started with the intention of growing a clientele and really fueling your practice. So I'm curious what you would say was the most important factor for you in attracting the right people to your business rather than just followers.
I think just posting and explaining a lot of why I was doing a certain thing. So, like, remembering that the average desk worker doesn't understand the lingo like subscapularis. So, I would put things in. It's like I would do show anatomy to grab those types of clients that are trying to learn more about their body, but I would still kind of dumb it down in a way to make them understand what I was talking about. Like that was actually really hard for me at first because I'd be like, I can't just say if you have low back pain, working on your glutes can help because it could be this, it could be your quads, it could be
Yeah.
misalignment from here. Like I did have to get out of my own head and out of my own way at first because the body is so complex that it can be so many different things. So I think I would just kind of try to call out to people and show them something that a ton of people deal with. So like low back, neck, shoulders, um, even like forearms for a lot of like typing and stuff. I think I was just doing a good job at highlighting the muscles that I was working on and that it is more complex than just a spa massage. And then explaining in the caption kind of further for those people. But now that I
Well,
think about it, actually, those first videos didn't ever have text throughout because I don't think you could, that wasn't as big back then.
yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, even just showing that you were working specific work, but like then later with the text videos and I remember when you started putting like the anatomy videos
Yeah, that
on top.
started. Yeah.
That really positions you as an expert. Like, again, not just a spa massage. You're not just giving like a swoopy massage. Like you're talking about anatomy, you're talking about structure, you're working on specific muscles. Even if you do use like the subscapularis word that a desk worker might not know, it positions you in a specific way. And I'm sure it attracted a specific type of client that wanted a specific type of treatment.
Yeah. I feel like I started getting a lot of clients that just wanted the more corrective, I guess, work rather than just feel good. And I was really good about that. Like I am proud of myself when I go back and look at those crappier videos. My very first post was a video because I was just like I just always was doing that. So when some massage therapists come to me asking for advice and I go and look at their page and there's not any videos, I'm like, okay, well that alone, like people need to see it. I think every industry is different, obviously, but I
Yeah.
think videos in general just do really well for most industries, even if it's just those B-roll type of things where it's a video instead of just a static picture. So yeah, I think I kind of started posting equally for clients and then for other massage therapists. So I would kind of know when to use the words or I would teach a lot though, and that did help bring in the clients that wanted to learn. Especially those anatomy images started bringing in more people that are like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I had a muscle there. So yeah, so I'm so grateful. I hear horror stories from other massage therapists about inappropriate things or disrespectful clients, and I honestly don't have really any like bad stories. So I'm so grateful for that. And I do attribute it to the professionalism that I showed on my page. I don't know. I don't know if that's why, but, or if I just got lucky, but my business was in San Diego, a really popular place. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I think it definitely does. I don't think any person looking for nefarious body work is going to see someone who's posting musculature and be like, that's the person that I'm going to book
exactly.
with. But someone who does just have a random stock photo of that lady with the lotus flower in her hair and her hands, pressed up against her cheek, that is, I mean, not saying that that's like asking for it, but it's much more likely that they're going to be someone who is not very, no, I'm not saying that it's like you're less likely
Yeah.
to be professional, but you're not positioning yourself as someone who does a very specific type of body work. And I think you're right that the video makes a big impact just for clients being able to know if your style of work is going to feel good in their body too, because someone who I think to some degree we have those mirror neurons, right? Like we can see something and we can kind of sense what it feels like. We can kind of see like, oh, I would love that massage. We've all seen that guy who like pulls the hair and the body work on
Mhm.
Instagram. And like there's so many people who are like, oh, I want that. I'm personally triggered by it. So I know I'm not booking a massage with him.
Yeah.
But being able to see what you actually do is such a big piece of how we market ourselves. And those static images, they don't produce that dopamine hit that people are on Instagram for in the first place, but we want to also trigger those mirror neurons so that the person who's like, oh, I need a yummy massage like that, oh, they're in my location, cool, I'm going to book a massage, or I'm going to follow them, or I want to learn from them. And I also think too that when you speak to the client that is benefiting from the knowledge that you're sharing about like the self-care, that client that wants to learn is a very particular client that's going to receive better because they're also going to be listening to you, they're going to be valuing the information that you have to share, they're going to go home and most likely do self-care as well,
Yeah.
so the work is going to be much more impactful long term for them because they're perpetuating the benefits of it. And that's a specific type of person. And it's so funny because you wouldn't automatically think like, oh, if I post videos and I teach about the hamstrings, then I'm going to be getting clients that are like this. But it really does come down to like, what am I posting and who is actually benefiting from that? When we post the lady with the lotus in her hair and her hands on like her face on her hands, what client is that speaking to? And is that actually your ideal client? It's something to think about when even posting those static images.
Yes, for sure. And I think that brings me to another point where I would say like when I created an Instagram course for massage therapists to teach them how to post videos and how to post ones to get their ideal client. And that word, ideal client, always like was kind of triggering, I think, for some people because they were like, I don't care who is coming to see me. I just want clients because I'm broke. I need to fill my schedule. And I would be like, no, 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 no. You do care
Yeah.
about it. And it's okay. And I feel like I was a perfect example where I used to think I only wanted to work on like athletes and like I would love to work for some professional sports team. And then when I got the opportunity to work on a few of those people, I was like, oh, I actually do like working on regular.
I had the exact same experience
Yeah, like
actually.
you like think that it's like the top level and then so then I realized I'm like, okay, I do like working on athletes, but I like working on stay-at-home moms. I like working on desk workers. So the common denominator though for all of them was they wanted the type of work I was giving. And so there's obviously still some clients that just are like, I just kind of want, they have a 90-minute session. I want kind of a full body. They come once a month. It's very, but I'm still doing the deeper work, it might not be as interactive where they're like moving their arm around or whatever. But at the end of the day, 90% of my clients had the same common denominator of just wanting something more specific and intentional. And if we spend more time on the right side rather than the left, that's okay, like that. So then I realized, like, okay, your ideal client can be so many different types of people, but the type of body work they're wanting is the
Yeah.
same.
I like to think of it as like the outcome that they're there
Yeah.
for. And there
Yeah.
usually is a specific outcome that your body work is really, really good at achieving.
Yeah. Did you get access to a professional sports team or what happened with
I
you?
worked on multiple professional athletes, not teams in particular, but like individual athletes. And yeah, it was not very long into that experience that I realized like you are a tough cookie. And I also eventually after that specialized in working with like so I was in Boulder, Colorado. So really the average human there was a weekend warrior. Like everyone and their grandmother was in CrossFit or they were a triathlete. So and that's the average Joe there. So even my average Joe client was a pretty intense athlete as well. And man, they are always broken. And it's great. I loved working with them. But it really does go to show like there, even with those types of people, there is a a tough cookie ness about them that sometimes was not as fulfilling. And I found myself working with or really enjoying working with people who are a little bit more low key than that. Again, the desk workers, the people who, like, yeah, they went on their bike ride for like an enjoyable cruise and they did that regularly, or they went climbing for enjoyment or all that, but they weren't like training for all of the Ironman competitions all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember too. This is kind of a like what you start to post almost starts to attract more of that kind. So I started working on a lot of guys to post them because they were my friends or a personal trainer and they're all jacked. And then I'm posting them. And so then I would get so many other guys that are bodybuilders. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
why do they all keep coming to me? But it's because they're seeing me working on them. And I remember this guy who was like 6'8", like hanging off my table, and he wanted me to stretch him. And I'm like putting my whole effort into like stretching his hamstring. And I'm like, why did you come to me? And it's like, because you looked at my page. And that's so I remember being like, hey, everybody, I do work on women too. Like
Yeah.
it just, there was a certain phase where one of my friends always was down for me to record and he was super in shape. So he would just take his clothes off. He's like, whatever, I don't care, and then we would be having fun filming it because he would just be like, work on whatever. And so, but then I was like, okay, hold on. I need to film some women actually because I need women to know. Or it was so sad. I would get messages from people who were overweight and they would be like, "Hey, I don't want to be recorded." And I was like, "I don't no, no, no. Like I don't just record anyone. This is usually like a friend or some type of trade. It's another massage therapist or something like that." So then I did have to be a little bit more mindful of like, you guys, I would never just post you. I would never just secretly record you or anything like that.
Yeah.
Then it kind of felt bad. Like, and then I would even get requests like, can you film yourself working on someone overweight? Because it's not really realistic that all of your clients are super in shape. But I'm like, how do I go about being like, hey, somebody who's overweight who wants to be filmed? Like that was just kind of,
Yeah.
and I never liked just filming my clients. I would sometimes, but then it turned into like a very, I would, go to my personal trainer, he would train me, and then I would work on him and I would record it. So it was more of like, I wasn't just filming anyone. But I will say the types of people you're filming, I do think it starts to send a message out there to others. So if you don't want to work on a bunch of bodybuilders, maybe don't only film bodybuilders.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had the same experience too, where I started getting kind of backlash for the people that were in the photos that I posted. It's like, look, I put my model call out to all bodies welcome, and the people that are comfortable being photographed end up being the people who are comfortable being photographed. I would love to have various bodies on the table, and because like all bodies are welcome on my table,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's just, it kind of is the nature of what it is. But then also, yeah, curating as well. Like if you want to work with primarily female clientele, I know some people who really do want to keep their clientele primarily female. Then like you really need to make sure that that is demonstrated because people need to see themselves on the
Hmm.
table. And that's part of how those mirror neurons work too, right?
Yeah.
Like if a woman is scrolling through and she sees a man being massaged, the mirror neuron is less likely to fire for them. They might learn a cool technique and like, see a really cool stretch or something and benefit from it in that way and learn, but they're not going to see themselves on your table.
Yeah. And even people would. take almost too much from my videos where like most of my videos the guy would still be in his shorts or like a girl would still be in her sports bra just because it was easier to film that way. But then when like a new client would come in, they'd be like, okay, like I know your videos, they're in shorts, so I brought some shorts, and I would be like, oh no, that was just for filming. Like I'll still step out and you can undress. Like it's almost like then people think everything from your page is exactly. So you do kind of get like a little bit of that too.
That's so
But
important. I think that that like really goes to show how powerful like a walk through an actual session can actually be like beneficial on a page with a video or I love having a video on the website as well to like walk through the studio space or
Mhm.
walk through an actual session, see what it's actually like because even like a new client wanting to see what you're like again, if it's just stock photography, they're not going to be able to feel comfortable or get an idea of what it's like. They'll probably still book with you, but like it's not going to be as easy for their nervous system to get comfortable when they walk in. But if they've seen it before and it's like, oh, this is the environment I was expecting, cool. Oh, this is the treatment I was expecting, cool. Then it actually allows the body work to be a lot more effective because their nervous system is more at ease having seen it being done before.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would have people be like, I feel like I know you already because that's another thing is people will follow you for a while before they end up booking. Maybe not even for any reason other than they just haven't gotten around to it, but to booking with you. But I think a lot of people would be like, oh my gosh, I've been following you for a year now. I feel like I know you. Or I would always get like, you're so much shorter than you look online. I was like, do I just look like a giant in my videos? But I think because I put my table so low, I do look taller, but I'm 5'3", so people would show up and they'd be like, "Oh, interesting." And I got it so many times, so I was like, "Interesting that you guys are all taking that." But even a few of the girls were like, I liked that I saw your studio space. I knew like just knowing what they're signing up for. I think especially when people have never really gotten into massage before, they've never, I'll go to anyone almost at this point, like just to try them. Like I'm not but I'm a massage therapist, so I'm more open to that. But a lot of people, they get really nervous. So I do think them seeing just you and yeah, your space, I think can definitely help a lot.
Yeah, yeah, you don't even have to get behind the camera. It does help. Like, I think people get like really offended. I've seen this posted a couple of times on the groups that, someone asked for a photo or like, should I put a photo of myself on my website and like, oh, these creepers. And it's like, actually, like I personally just for my own nervous system's sake would like to know what the person is like. I
Mhm.
get an energy, I get a vibe that way, and it's not about like are they hot or not? Like it's about just like getting a sense. But if you're not comfortable on camera, if you're not comfortable putting yourself that way, at the very least, having walkthroughs of your space and showing what like your hands on somebody so that like it really does paint that picture makes such a huge difference. And it's not all just creepers. It's literally the nervous system feeling comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people get so nervous to film themselves, but I'm like, you could just do a close up, yeah, of your hands. Like your body doesn't really have to be in it. My body's always in it because I'm at the same time trying to teach other massage therapists like body mechanics and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But if your goal is just to fill your schedule with clients, like, yeah, you don't need to be full frame in it at all. And you don't even need to have a ton. Like you just need to have a reference page, for people. Like so many people are anti putting themselves out there on Instagram, but I'm just like, but you need some form of marketing. So if you're not doing other things like SEO or on Google or whatever, like you're running a business, you have to have something. And most
Something.
massage therapists don't even have websites that explain further than just booking,
Yeah.
So it's like if you're not going to have that, which is fine because I my website was through Massage Book for the first like 3 years. Longer than it should have been, probably 4 years, to be honest. Like, I just had a link and you book, and I'd never even changed it. Like,
Yeah.
people were already on board when they saw my Instagram. Like, that was my
Yeah.
website. And then they just went to go book. So you don't even have to have anything crazy on the back end if you're willing to put yourself out there, even on TikTok. Or I just think Instagram, I love TikTok, but I just think Instagram is just more of one of the ones where people search it to find.
Mhm.
Um, People, massage therapists, hairstylists, like stuff like that.
Hey
friend. Quick pause in the episode because I have to share something that's made a huge impact on both my practice and the work I teach inside my courses. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you probably remember the teal cups I started out with. Those were iconic in my early days of teaching cupping therapy. But here's the thing I learned the hard way: not all silicone cups are created equal. I started noticing huge inconsistencies between sets: cups that discolored fast, sharp edges that irritated my client's skin, and it just wasn't cutting it for the level of work I was doing. And in 2020, I found Global Cupping, and I've never looked back. Their cups are hands down the clearest, smoothest, and most consistent silicone cups I've ever used, and I've tried a ton. The difference in quality is immediately noticeable. These cups stay clear even after repeated disinfection, and they're built to stand up to high-level sanitation protocols, something I insist on teaching in my neuromuscular cupping therapy trainings. What I also love is the customizability. I can mix and match sizes in a set, no more stockpiling a bunch of cups I never use, and their silicone facial cups are my absolute go-to now for jaw work. No more rubber bulbs on the glass cups to worry about disintegrating, just easy to clean, durable tools that are comfortable for both the client and the therapist. In my own approach, I combine cupping with movement, massage, and retraining at the neuromuscular junction. And that means I need cups that can move with the body, grip well, and feel safe and smooth on sensitive tissue. These silicone cups, especially the 55 hardness to start with, are perfect for that. And for chronic pain clients, especially those with nervous system dysregulation, the ability to glide, pause, and work in dynamic ways is key to breaking pain cycles. Plus, their customer service, impeccable. I'm a stickler for this. I've had questions, students have had questions, and they're always quick, professional, and just genuinely kind. It makes a really big difference. So whether you're brand new to cupping or you're refining your technique, this is the gear I recommend. It's an investment in your practice that pays off in results, ease of use, and your client's comfort. Use code NEURO at checkout for 20% off your first order at globalcupping.com. All right, let's get back to the episode. Yeah, I've been saying this for a while that like Instagram really can actually replace the website, especially with the pinned posts and the link in bio. Like you really can actually completely replace a website with that. And when it comes to putting yourself out there, I feel like I've had this experience when like considering you and other people who have made it in the massage world, like so many massage therapists will resonate with this thought of like, well, she's got something that I don't. She just like has this knack for it, or there's something better, about her than me. And I'm curious if there's something behind the scenes that you wish more people knew about your journey and how you got to this point.
Oh man. Well, I had never even known what imposter syndrome was until I got a DM from someone. Like I was probably in like 2 years into it, and somebody was like, "Hey, do you ever struggle with imposter syndrome? Because you're always putting yourself out there." And I was like, "What's that?" And I looked it up and I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes." I'm like daily, it felt like sometimes, like just so like who am I to be teaching this? I'm only because when I first started it, I really was fresh out of school. So I wasn't like I I wasn't that much further than some of the people that were following me. So I was
Yeah.
like, who am I to be trying to teach this technique? Like I still am going to my mentor. My teacher would let me come and see his on Wednesdays, he would go and teach at the school, or he would teach like self-care stuff, but then he would work on the school faculty, and he would let me just sit there and watch.
Oh,
And so I
cool.
was still doing that for like at least 6 months to a year when I had my Instagram going. So I kept being like the imposter thing was a struggle of mine for a lot of those first few years of putting myself out there online. I think you just get to a point of just like, whatever. Like I really do. I don't think I worked through anything necessarily. I just saw the benefit over the fear of being judged, you know? I just kind of was like, whatever. So you do just kind of get to that point. But um yeah, I struggled a lot with the confidence part of it. And I don't know. I always try to give advice on this, but I think it's just you have to just do it more. And
Yeah.
then you'll get to a point of just not caring, I guess. So I don't know. I don't really have any good advice on like how to overcome it. So yeah, but I struggled a lot. I still do because now I'm at a different level where now I'm trying to teach online courses. And so you're just always dealing with something. So I was in therapy for a long time, probably for like 10 years actually. just through like a bad breakup. And then I started my own business. So she really helped me a lot with that, just boundaries and kind of the confidence part of that. So I think therapy helped me a lot. And then just like honestly, podcasts, like I would just listen to self-help type stuff. So I think when you're putting yourself out there, making sure you're doing something to get to know yourself at the same time and kind of know what your like limits are and what your boundaries are and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think an important thing that I heard you say is that it just, I mean, this is my paraphrasing, is that the imposter syndrome never really goes away. And like it just is. And once we get to the level where we realize like, oh, it's there and I'm just going to do the thing anyway, that's the trick. It's not about overcoming it. It's about just doing the thing anyway because the benefit outweighs that fear.
Yes. Yeah. And then you realize how many big names and people you look up to once you hear them talking about how they all struggled or how their first years were terrible or um, even like, so I grew up, I'm the youngest of nine kids.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so there's big family and we struggled a lot financially. And so that even like not having the money to buy the best equipment or like being embarrassed sometimes of certain rooms, my massage rooms were not always the best because sometimes the ones you have access to and that are available for rent aren't, the best lighting or like stuff like that. So I had to work through a lot of that, but then just realizing that it does make you more relatable. And I kind of found a few entrepreneurs that aren't even massage therapists that I realized like I connected so much with entrepreneurs who struggled financially, like growing up and stuff, because they all talked about how that was hard once they started making more money and how they had to kind of break free of the money mindset and stuff. So then I was like, okay, some of the most successful people that I look up to were, doing worse than me, talking about bouncing checks and stuff like that. I mean, that's way long ago. But one of my favorite ones, she was like, I had a whole spiel of telling the bank to waive my late fee. And now she's like killing it out there. And it's just like, okay, so many people struggled with imposter syndrome and that stuff that it's like, I must be almost doing something right to be, you know,
Yes.
questioning things because if you aren't and you just think that you're qualified, if you're not questioning it, like there might actually be something else going on.
Actually a really huge point. There's this concept of, I believe Abraham Maslow coined this term, reverse indicators, that when you are really starting to feel that imposter syndrome, or you're starting to feel fear, or like you're starting to procrastinate something, or like talking about like canceling something, is like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Whatever it is that is your thing, like I feel like all those things are something that I do sometimes. Those are indicators that you're actually on the right path. And so when you can actually recognize that those things are indicators of that, even though it feels like you want to hide, it feels like you're doing the wrong thing, it feels like you shouldn't be doing this, it's actually what you should be recognizing as, oh, I'm actually doing the right thing. And the more I
Yeah.
get that, it's like, okay, I just got to keep trucking through and
Yeah.
just doing the thing.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel good in the moment. You're just like, no,
Yeah.
this is unique to me, and I'm the only one that has felt this way. But actually, do you follow? His name is Adam. He lives in Ireland, and his Instagram is Next Stage Therapy, I want to say.
Okay.
And it was during the pandemic when my page started growing a lot and then my membership. And I was just kind of like, I think I must have posted something about imposter syndrome. And he sent me a link to a book called The Imposter Cure by
Mm.
Dr. Jessamy Hibbard. And he was killing it. He already had like thousands and thousands of followers on YouTube. He was bigger on YouTube than Instagram. And he was like, he seemed so confident to me. Like his page just seemed great. And he was like, this book changed my life. And I was like, oh my gosh, you deal with it too? And so, because I did read in the book, it says women kind of struggle with it a
Oh,
bit
yeah.
more than men. Um, And so, but he was like, yeah, it completely changed. And so I use him as a reference to people when I'm when I've been talking about that book in the past, like it got recommended to me from by somebody who's doing way better than me online. And, so you just never know the internal stuff that I think just the difference is that people just find a way to move past it and
Yeah.
get over it.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I love having these conversations too, because it's so important to recognize that so many people struggle with those things, especially the people that we put on a pedestal. And part of the reason why we are putting them on a pedestal is because there is a piece of our brain that is designed to keep us safe and keep us from taking risk. And it shows that, like, we look at this person who's got it all figured out, and we're like, oh, I could never do what they're going to do. So I'm just going to hide in my cave and never do anything again. And actually, it makes that person look even shinier than they actually are. I bet like all of your older videos that you're like, oh my gosh, my lighting is terrible and all da da da. I would imagine most other people are like, oh, she still is like rocking it and doing amazing. Look at her posting her videos. Like you are having an entirely different experience than the people who are actually looking at you. And the moment that we can kind of reverse that and recognize that, like, if we were just to step into that and start posting the, crappy videos ourselves, we're eventually going to get to the place where there's people looking at us that way as well. And it's not that it's about getting those people to look at us that way. It's about recognizing that it's part of the journey to put yourself out there and just go for it. Because I love this metaphor of when we walk a path, we can benefit the world. And this is why I love helping body workers create online courses. And I wonder if this is part of your shtick as well with being inspired about this, because wherever you're at, no matter how much experience you have or what level of knowledge you think you have, there is always, if you turn around, there's going to be someone who's 10 paces behind you, and you can reach out your hand and help give them the lift up to where you are. And the thing is, we can't do that if we don't at least step into what we are passionate about and what we know and what we like, and actually like turn around and be like, who can I help? Because where I'm at right now is what I have. And once we uplift people to where we are at, then we get the next 10 steps. And there's always going to be someone 10 steps ahead of you as well. So look for those people, grab their hand, move up with them as well, but continuously looking back and helping other people that are 10 steps behind you on your journey. It's just a beautiful big massage daisy chain.
Yes, for sure. And you just have to start too to see even what you want. And maybe being online is not your thing. And I always tell people if your business is where you want it to be and you don't need to get new clients and you don't want to start an online business or course or whatever, then like whatever. You
Yeah,
can
don't.
do whatever. You don't have to. But if you're trying to fill your schedule and you're acting like you've tried everything, but you have not posted a video of yourself working, I'm like, you haven't tried everything, actually, you know?
Yeah.
But I honestly think I'm struggling with something different now where I think that it was almost more fun for me when I was first starting out because I think maybe I was more approachable. I feel like some of my older videos actually got a lot more engagement because I could get back to people all the time. And then once my page kind of grew a little bit more, I feel like maybe, yeah, now I look like I'm too far ahead of them. Like I think that there's a really good thing about just being a little bit ahead to help and to feel like they know because it has been so long since I've started my own business. So sometimes I'm like, I forgot how stressed I was figuring out how to learn how to use a credit card pay system.
Yeah.
Like it's been so long now that I'm almost like, oh, what was it like? So yeah, if you're just first starting out or you're only a few years in and you feel like you can't help somebody, like you actually are in the best position to help because you're in the thick of it and you remember what it was like to have those fears too. I
Yeah.
think it's hard for me to give advice for some people sometimes because they're like, I just don't want to be on camera. And I'm like, just do it. Like, I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to have your body in it, I guess. Because, like, when people come to me for those things, like, I'm just insecure. I don't want my body in it. Like, I get that. But I still think there's a way around it. I think there's, you know, something something you could post. So I do struggle with giving people advice on that because I'm just like, you just got to do it at some point. And
Well, that is
um,
the advice. Really,
yeah,
that's what it
yeah,
comes down to is just
yeah,
do the thing. If you are scared of it and you are hesitating and procrastinating it, that's exactly what you need to be doing.
yeah. And I think when you're newer, you're more like okay with like now I think my patience with people sometimes is getting a little more limited where I'm just like I can't hold your hand. Like I don't, I can't walk you through every single thing. I get it, but 5 years ago I probably would have written them a huge paragraph back about how I used to struggle with it too and to try to make them feel really good. Whereas now I'm just like I promise the benefits are going to outweigh the fears and the cons. So just freaking do it. Because I just know how life-changing it can be. So I'm just like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, too, like, you mentioned that, like, where you're at such a different place in your
Yeah.
career now. And, like, you had a big life change as well. And there's this aspect of how you've shifted your business and what I personally would love to see more and more body workers step into. And I'm curious for you when it comes to maintaining the sustainability in your business and like not just maintaining it, but like proactively growing the sustainability of your business, not just financially, but like mentally and emotionally as well. How are you navigating that as your visibility and your success has grown, as well as with this big transition to living in an entirely different state?
Yeah, I'm honestly have struggled over the last few months just not knowing. So for anybody who doesn't know, I have been solely a massage therapist and then my online membership and I have a course was just kind of on the side and it just felt like extra money and just extra if people needed help, here you go. Like I wasn't fully marketing that as much. Like I still would market it, but it wasn't like the full thing. And then in February, me and my fiance moved to Montana and I did not want to start a new business out here. I just had no desire. I want to have kids in the next year. So I'm like, I need to figure out something to be able to work from home. So I fully dove in online in February. I kept my office in San Diego because I had this delusional thought that I would travel back once a month. And that happened once. And then the second time I was like, I don't want to work while I'm here. I want to go see
Yeah.
my friends. Like, no. And so I actually recently just got rid of my office last month. So now I'm fully online. And so now I am hitting this point of like mainly about Instagram, to be honest. Like I'm like, I gained all these followers from posting massage videos and teaching massage stuff. Well, now I haven't even worked on anyone in months, you know? So I'm just like, what kind of videos do I post? How do I talk about it? So I'm actually going through a little bit of a transition of how to, like, people follow you for a reason and you want to still show up for them, but at the same time, like, what? Yeah, I'm just kind of like at this point of like transitioning fully online that has been a little challenging, but I think when I was still full time as a massage therapist, I did get really good towards the end of just like boundaries and not wanting to overwork myself, not, if a client was like, can you come in? Can I come in on Saturday instead? Like I had a strict policy. So I think the first few years I was very like you could get away with anything with me with rescheduling. And so then once I started to get a little better at that, I think my business ran a little bit smoother, you know.
Yeah, it's so funny how we think that saying no to clients is actually going to do bad for business, but it's actually the best thing that we can do for our business.
Yes, seriously. And it's like, especially if you say yes and you're dreading it, they don't even know you're dreading it. So like they would rather you be, in a good mood and not just
Yeah.
be like, I'm coming in just for you. So yeah, I don't know if I really answered your question because I'm kind of at this like how do I make my business run smoothly still now that I'm like completely online? So it's been kind of like it's been fun though, but it's the whole marketing thing and all of that is just a whole separate beast that I'm learning. Like I always
Yeah.
was just working on creating something new, and now I've created a new course that launched in the summer, and then I just created a new training to kind of shovel people into the course, like a cheaper training. And now I'm like, okay, do not create anything else.
Good luck with
Focus. I
that.
mean, I know I have two courses and then I have the membership and then I have that training. So really, I don't have a ton, but I'm realizing like I get DMs from people like a little confused about my offers. So I'm like, okay, I could do a better job at marketing this better. But then I think it's hard because I don't know posting wise, like I don't want to go only like leaving bodywork techniques completely behind and only talking about business.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a learning process right now for me.
Yeah, I mean you're hatching out of this egg, and like I went through that 2 years ago when I did the exact same thing. I left Colorado, I bought a house in
Yeah.
Virginia and like went completely online, and I'm still hands-on at a friend's studio just because it needs like I need to get out of the house. And I also
Mhm.
see it as like it's funny she was like you're not going to start your own practice. I'm like hell no. I have no desire to do that again. I feel like you feel similarly like it starting from scratch that way is not interesting, but being able to I consider it kind of like market research, like maintaining my ability to remember what it's like to continue to be a massage therapist because I'm still serving massage therapists. But I love that like you're in that exploration phase because yeah, I mean, figuring out how to transition completely over online after being hands-on primarily, it is a big stepping stone, but I love that you're right there because I want to see so many more body workers to know that it is possible and that people like you and I, and there's others out there that are doing it as well, that are kind of paving the way. It hasn't necessarily been, there aren't too many people who have fully transitioned that
Yeah.
way to, and so it's kind of like paving the way, but I know that it's possible. And I know that like I want to create pathways for more practitioners because at the end of the day the game is sustainability. Like we it's very challenging unless you've got a partner with a very lucrative paycheck to help you have massage as a hobby business to like have that completely sustainable hands-on only practice, especially if you're living in an area like San Diego or Boulder where I was, where it's like its cost of living's pretty high, and I would also like to be able to go and treat myself and go on vacation a couple of times a year
Yes.
and send my kids to a nice school. Like we should be able to do all of those things if that's what we want, but it can be a lot more challenging if you don't have either the padding of online income or padding of some other income coming through through another person or things like that. So, but I know that it absolutely is possible, and I love again it amplifies that relatability for someone like truly like I've had you on a pedestal ever since I found you years ago, and I'm like, oh man, this girl's got her shit together, she's doing so much better than me. It's odd, and I love that like I can consider you a friend because like that
Yeah.
has like helped like shatter that, but at the same time like you do inspire me very greatly, and I want to see more and more people be able to recognize like yeah, this like the transition is worth it. Number one, it's totally possible. And yeah, you can keep a hands on practice if you want, but that's also like if you're done with that, you can take everything that you've gained through your massage practice and apply it to an online business. You don't have to go and get like some, different degree or go back to school and do something entirely differently. There's so much that likely we have gained through the years of practice that if our hands are tired or we have to get surgery or whatever, there is a way to transition that into something that's impactful in other ways.
Yes, for sure. And you're so sweet for saying that because I look up to you too.
Oh,
I'm like, especially you, when I was on your thing on this, I think it was in January, and like you
hmm.
sent me over like a contract to sign, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so legit. I'm like, anybody I've ever interviewed, I've never sent a contract over. Like, you have been nailing the online business stuff. And so yeah, you're an inspiration to me too. It's just so funny how we can like, think the other person is just like doing so well.
That's so
And that's
funny.
where, yeah, it's so funny. But it's also weird too because like I'm over here telling people like how to gain more clients and like And then I'm like, but I don't want to gain more clients. Like I don't want to start a new business here. But I think half of it too was like I loved my clients. They were just like the best. Like they turned into more of friends and just that consistency. Like it started towards the end. I didn't want to take any new clients anymore. And then
Yeah.
every time I would get a new client, I'd be like, oh, you're awesome too. Because they were just like, I think San Diego is honestly a really good place to be
Oh
for
yeah.
that stuff, like everyone's active and people respect your time and people respect your boundaries. Like it was good. But I don't think I'm going to be here that long anyway to start something. But I think that is hard for massage therapists to like I think I needed this move because if I was still there and then I just shut down my practice, that would have been so hard. And to like say no to clients. Like it was kind of like, I'm moving, sorry. Like, and it was so sad. I cried my eyes out on the last day. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But then, and that's why I think I kept my office thinking like, I'm going to come back. And it was easier to let people down that way. And then now nobody even reaches out anymore. I think they've understood that and actually something terrible. We came out here for a startup business for my fiance, and that is already going under.
Oh no.
So we'll probably be heading back actually soon. But I'm like, but I don't want to tell anybody. I don't want to tell my clients because I mean, I just got rid of my office too, which I can always find another one. But I, this has been such a challenge to make it online, but it's been so rewarding that I can travel. I can do anything. I can go on every vacation with my family. I can do anything now that I have this online stuff. But it is, I think a lot of massage therapists deal with like the guilt of like, but I went to
Yeah.
school to like help people. But I'm like, but I'm still helping people. I'm just helping other massage therapists help
Yeah,
them
well,
more.
I like to think that like, okay, so for example, if at bare minimum I were to increase the lifespan, like the career lifespan of massage therapists by 3 years, even if that could go up on average, then how many people will I have vicariously helped
Yeah.
because of that extra 3 years those practitioners were able to practice? That's
Yeah.
incredible. So like really the impact is so much more exponential if we have some kind of online offer.
Yes, I agree. And yeah, it's just a different type. And I'm just like, I think that there's great massage therapists out there. Like my clients were like, no, I don't want to find someone new. But I'm like, there's so many good people here. You're going to be
Yeah.
fine. I
You
do, it was hard because I'm like, I bet a lot of you are just going to not go anymore because they just had the consistency of me, like they would just book with me before they would leave their session. And, I think there's probably a lot of them that have fallen off, um, but yeah, I'm like, not everyone knows how to be online like us and help. And so it's almost like just like this feeling like of like, it's like a calling, like I have to.
Yeah. Well, and you were kind of forced to. I feel like that opportunity with the startup, I mean, who's to say that perhaps it was not like a universal, like, no, we got to get Jessica out of here and force her to go completely online.
Right.
And then you can go back to San Diego once you've like really stepped
Yeah.
into that and you can enjoy the sunshine again.
Yeah, no, I totally thought that. And like with my fiance, I was like, we need to be putting like, I know we were focusing on your stuff and like, because we really thought this startup, it should have taken off. It's just they didn't have the funding and they didn't put enough effort into the sales part. They just kept trying to do more and more. And so that's kind of why that fell out. But when we first came out here, it was kind of all for him. Like it was like I mean, it took me like 6 months to finally say yes to
Yep.
coming out here. I was like, I'm not going there. What are you talking about? Like, I lived in San Diego for 15 years. I love San Diego. I'm never leaving. Like, what? And so but then I was like, wait, this is kind of a blessing in disguise. Like, this is giving me the chance. And I've probably some of the months doubled what I was making online from when I first came out here. Um, but it did hit me hard. Like, oh, I guess I did depend on my in-person practice income still.
Yeah.
Because I was down to like 3 to 4 days a week, more like 3 days a week in person. So I wasn't working on a ton, but once I got out here, I was like, oh, okay, we
Yeah, you
gotta,
recognize the
gotta have
big chunk that it
yeah.
was. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But it's good, like it forced you into that. I'm curious, like, it seems like you're in kind of a limbo zone now, but like, do you have any like plans for like what you're moving into in this next chapter of your life?
Well, we're also planning a wedding.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm getting married in May. So that's been a big piece of what we're planning. And like we could technically up and move back to San Diego right now. Because he actually just got another job opportunity with another startup, which I'm kind of like, I'm a little traumatized by startups, but so my fiance is a financial analyst, so
Okay.
his world is way different. And I would always be like, just create something. You could sell a
Right.
template. You could sell, and he would be
I do
like,
the same
what?
thing to all my friends too. I'm like, let's make an online course for that.
Yeah, like I don't care what you do, you could do it, you know? And so he really loved being out here because he was starting to kind of he was part like they gave him ownership of the company and it was his friend that was doing it. So he just felt really passionate about it. And I was like, I don't want you to get back, sucked back into the corporate world. So this is actually a good opportunity, but the other startup is in San Diego. So they told him you don't have to move back right away because most people work remote, but they were like you can. And I was like, this is actually interesting because as much as I don't want to, I was dreading coming out here, and honestly, it was 35 degrees last night
Yep.
here. And I was like, wait, I was laying out at the pool last weekend. Like I've never we came here in February when it was snowing, but we only had to deal with it till what, May.
Yeah.
So I think like there's a part of me where he's like, I thought you'd be like, let's pack up and go. And I'm like, no, I don't think I'm there yet because we want to start a family soon and we don't want to go back to just renting a little tiny apartment. Like we had this goal of coming out here and his startup taking off and mine taking off. And so now that it's getting cut short, I'm like, no, I feel like I have more to do. So that's like my personal life is there's a lot of that going on. But yeah, I think just like business wise, just kind of trying to remember that I'm here to help people. And so I think when I first launched my course, I wanted to make it very hands off. Like you buy the course and then it gives you everything. I didn't
Yeah.
really ever offer like monthly calls or anything like that because I really wanted it to be like passive. But now I'm realizing like time is all I have too right now. So it's like I'm starting to offer more calls. Like I have a call after this with one of the members, like just kind of trying to figure out how I can help people more. And just perfecting the whole sales part because it's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot, and I just launched a course on uh how to make money online. It's not like a super in-depth crazy course that's going to teach you every single thing, but it's kind of just to, the differences between courses and memberships and affiliate and kind of the first steps and where to go. Um, but a few of them are starting to create courses and they haven't even thought about the marketing side. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got to talk about this more because
Yeah.
everyone focuses so much on the creation
Mm-mm.
and
Yeah.
even me and I work on things too in the back in like without telling people I'm trying to get better about showing people what I'm working on before it's even ready. So yeah, so the next few months is just going to be me really honing in on how to sell these things more and how to be more helpful. And if that's doing more group calls or one-on-one calls, like what can I do to make the membership and the courses more valuable? Um, but do you do monthly calls with your?
Yeah,
Okay.
the Sustainable Body Worker has two monthly calls for the group, and then different. I have a different membership tier that gets access to me via Voxer. Are you familiar with Voxer? It's like a
No.
walkie-talkie app. So great for coaching because it's kind of like having DMs, but it's voice memos.
Oh, there's so many things. Like, and then
So
talking to
many
you,
different
I get
ways.
so
Yeah,
excited, but when I'm just stuck in my apartment, just like, what should I work on? Like, you do need to be around and like be a part of different memberships. I feel
you
like
do.
to be around people because this industry, even when I was an in-person, working, like you're not connecting too much with other massage therapists. It's just your clients.
Yeah.
And yeah, it can be a little lonely, I feel like.
I think that's why I'm so passionate about seeing more and more massage communities like what you've created and what I've created, and Annette Montgomery has a wonderful community as well. Like I'm excited about seeing these pods open up because it does create that community that we're lacking. And it creates a space where people can come together. Like a group call I did earlier this morning, actually, it was beautiful. We were able to share like a lot of like personal stuff that has nothing to do with business, but it has everything to do with business because the personal stuff leaks into our business life and it affects how we're able to show up for our clients and ourselves. And it just like being able to have that circle where these people, they wouldn't know each other in
Yeah.
regular life otherwise, but we're able to come together with a specific intention and hold space for each other. It's just a really beautiful thing, and we don't necessarily have that because we're always holding space for our clients. And so yeah, anyone listening, like whoever's community resonates with you, just give it a shot and join in on the group calls, show up for the things. I mean, like I've had the same experience where it's like, so many people are a member, but like, why aren't you showing up to the calls? Like, please just try and carve out the time for the calls and get a sense of the community because it really is the nuts and bolts. Like, sure, there's courses and stuff, and I know you've got a bunch of on-demand content as well, and like that's great and that's all good for your education, but the community really is what we're lacking as a whole in this profession, and it is a game changer when even if you're just showing up and listening. And part of the reason why I'm so adamant about this podcast too is to make it more accessible to hear these conversations about where we might be struggling, getting to witness like your evolution right now too. I'm so excited to hear like how this all evolves for you and where it transpires, because you walking through this and sharing so vulnerably what you're working through right now too makes it approachable and like resonate with people who might be like, oh shit, I thought she had everything together and she's going through this evolution. No, that's awesome. We all go through those things in order to figure out how to teach that to people like
Yeah.
behind us, right? And it's just so important to hear more and more and more conversations. Like you were saying, you got inspired by listening to podcasts. We have to expose ourselves to the various people in various stages of growing business, various versions of a wellness business, even just entrepreneurs of any kind, to recognize that like we all have this human struggle, and being able to just step out of this brain state. At least I find myself being like, oh man, I should have had everything figured out by now, or I should have like I'm not good enough for this, and I'm not cut out for this, and like everyone else is saying the same bullshit to themselves, even if they look incredibly successful. So just keep trucking, sis.
Yeah. Seriously. And every stage is going to challenge a new set of things. So it's like you're always going to be being tested. And
Yeah,
yeah, you just gotta do it. And I have been seeing a lot more massage therapists, I feel like, with memberships and courses and stuff. And
yeah.
I love to see it. Like a lot of people are like, oh, but there's already a course for that. I'm like, not all of their followers see,
Yeah.
like if
But
anything
also
that just,
take all of the courses on the
yeah,
courses. One thing
yeah,
I teach about cupping too, it's like, great, take my cupping course, but go take their cupping course and their cupping
yeah,
course and go learn all of the things, because I
yeah.
guarantee you're going to pick up different nuggets from different teachers. And it's
Yeah,
great.
and everybody's vibe is just different. And so you might, vibe with somebody else more like, yeah, just get out there. Be a part of something. So
Yeah.
many massage therapists, I feel like, just are on their own and just I, I haven't I wish my people were more interactive in the group. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do that because we just have a Facebook group right now.
Hmm.
And some people, I mean, there's a few times a month somebody says something and then they all connect and it's really good. But I want them to talk to each other more. Like, but I can't force that. But like I've seen so many good connections of people like, what CEU class should I take? And just little things like that, or like, what's your experience with working on this type of person? Like, so I love to see that part. Like to
Yeah.
me, I'm just like, I just want to be the vessel that brings you guys all together, but I don't want to be the one constantly starting the conversation. Like you guys need to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Um, but I think they're getting enough out of it. I think that when people do need help, they do go into there. But I think sometimes it can just kind of people don't think of going on to that. You think of
Yeah.
talking to your friends and family, but I'm like, but your friends and family, unless they're in it or they're some type of other entrepreneur, then they don't probably really get it. Like, so even with my fiance, he's like the only person I have out here. And he just doesn't understand a lot of this stuff, you know? Like, I'm like, I need to talk to you when I'm like, should I do this price or this price? And it could be a difference of 20 bucks, you know?
Yep.
Like, and I'm just like, but this sounds so much cheaper. And he's like, okay, then do that. And I'm like, but this, you know, and I'm like, okay, I need to talk to another, somebody who's in this space or at least an entrepreneur
Yeah.
because corporate people just don't get it.
Yeah, you've got to curate the group of people that you're bouncing ideas off of. And I think that's a hard lesson that a lot of us learn because like we want to confide in and trust in our like family and things like that because we know that they love us, but they're not gonna have the same hard knocks that they're
Yeah, and
learning from.
they just don't know. So it's not even, you know,
Yeah,
like a fault of theirs. They can't, and a lot of people can't imagine making money online. So it's like I'm not going to go to somebody who has never been in that space because it's just not going to go anywhere because they just
exactly.
don't get it, you know?
Yeah.
So
Well, Jessica, this has been awesome. I want to ask for anyone who is not familiar with your work, where would you like to direct them to go if they're interested in learning more about your membership or your courses? What's the first thing that they should check out?
yeah, they can just go to my Instagram is jker_bodywork. And then there's a link there that has all of my offers, or you could just go to jkurtbodywork.com and you can see everything there. Or you could just DM me too. It might take a few days for me to get back to it, but I've tried to filter through. So
Yeah.
yeah, my Instagram has everything and all my offers on there.
Yeah, and super inspiring too. Like, honestly, keep up the good work. I'm so appreciative of your time and just I'm tickled that we're both like, oh, she's so good and great. Like, I
Yes.
love that. And like
I'm
anyone
like,
else who like looks up to either of us in that way, just know like we want to do the same thing for you too. So get your booty on the camera. Well, not your booty, but get yourself on camera and post on Instagram because we want to
yes, you
see more
never
people
know.
succeed.
Yeah, you never know who you're going to connect with. And now I'm like, I need to go check out your membership. I love being a part of all these different ones, you know? So
Yeah.
it was an honor to be asked to be on here. And yeah, I loved it. It's got my head spinning now. I'm like, okay, I have these other things I need to work on. So
Yeah. Awesome. Love the inspiration. Thanks for listening to The Sustainable Body Worker. If something resonated for you today, grab your free breakthrough session, which includes a custom hypnotherapy track to help you unlock the next level. Grab it now with the link in the show notes. And to hear more, hit subscribe. We'll see you next time.